Welcome back. Today's topic is sugar. It's a very important topic and a common topic of discussion. So, which sugar is the healthiest? So, there are various types of sugar available: white sugar, brown sugar, coconut sugar, honey, jaggery or molasses, maple syrup, agave, dates, date sugar, sugar substitute, artificial sweeteners. The list goes on. Why I decided to do a video on this particular topic or types of sugar or to compare sugar head to head? Because there is lot of videos I have watched about discussing about sugar, and they discuss about certain aspects like sometimes they discuss about the calorie, sometimes micronutrients, but it was very difficult to find a video which incorporates all the different types of sugar and to have a head to head comparison. And I also looked at various research and scientific literature, and so there is a lot to unpack about sugar. So it's very difficult to cover in one video, but in this video I would like to focus on glycemic index, calorie, micronutrients and health benefits of some of the common types of sugar. Coming to the types of sugar, there are various types of sugar available. Table sugar or white sugar, that's a highly refined form of sugar. Brown sugar, that is white sugar with little bit of added molasses like 5 to 10%. Coconut sugar from the sap of coconut flower, its natural unrefined form. Honey is from flower nectar. Jaggery or molasses made from sugar cane and sap of palm trees. Maple syrup is from the sap of sugar maple trees. Agave syrup or nectar from agave plant. Date sugar is from dates. And there are sugar substitutes like stevia, that's a natural plant derived sweetener. And there are various artificial or chemical sweeteners available. So as I mentioned in the introduction, I am going to compare these types of sugar head to head. First, let us compare based on the glycemic index. So what is glycemic index? It's a measure of how quickly a food can make your blood sugar rise. So that is called GI or glycemic index. So if you look at this table, you can see various types of sugar on one side and glycemic index I have mentioned in the other side of the table. So you can see that certain sugars are having a very high glycemic index like white sugar 65, brown sugar 64, coconut sugar has little bit less 35, honey has a good glycemic index of 58, jaggery or molasses also high in GI 55 to 60, maple syrup 54, agave is slightly lower, and you can see dates there is a range like because it depends on the types of dates, like it is average 42 and it can range from 42 to 75 something like that. And sugar substitute stevia that has a 0 glycemic index. And fructose, which is a type of sugar found in fruits, that has a lower glycemic index of 19. So from this table you can make out like which type of sugar will make our blood sugar rise. So then we can decide what type of sugar is suitable for consumption. So the next table is about the calorie comparison. So this is a very important aspect, and I have taken, you can see the description, sugar types on one side, other side it is calories. It's kilocalories per 100 gram of that type of sugar. White sugar, very high calories for 100. Brown sugar, sometimes people think it is a superior form. It's not superior because it is also have high calorie amount. Coconut sugar is also having a high calorie of 375. Honey is also reasonably good or high calorie. Molasses 290, maple syrup 260, agave 310, and dates it can range from 333 to 547, so that is also high calorie. So and stevia has less calories, of course it's a natural sugar substitute. So what we have to understand from this table is all sugar whatever the form is, it is all high calorie. It's a calorie dense food. So moving on to comparing the various types of sugar, and in this table I am comparing with various micronutrients or bioactive. Sometimes some sugars are advertised as having some bioactive or some beneficial micronutrients and things like that. So let us compare. There is nothing much to talk about white sugar because it is very negligible micronutrients, hardly anything. And brown sugar, small amounts of calcium, potassium and some things like that because of little bit of molasses added, but it is nothing great or nothing very superior. Coconut sugar also, if you see, again small amounts of certain micronutrients and things like that. So there is no clear benefit in consuming coconut sugar, because sometimes even when I used to think that coconut sugar is very healthy and healthy sugar, but it doesn't add too much of the micronutrients. Honey has micronutrients, not much, small amounts, vitamin B2, B6, iron, zinc, but it is rich in polyphenols, flavonoids and enzymes. So certain bioactives are the honey is rich in certain bioactives, and honey also got antibacterial and antioxidant properties. Jaggery or molasses is high in iron, calcium, magnesium, potassium rich, and rich in phenolic antioxidants. Maple syrup is reasonably good source of certain micronutrients. Agave has some amounts of calcium, potassium, magnesium and some polyphenols, and dates is high in potassium, magnesium, calcium, iron, polyphenols and dietary fiber. So you can see there are some micronutrients or bioactives are there in certain forms of sugar. Now the question is, it is not like these micronutrients are only present in sugar. So you can see that these bioactives are available in other forms of more of healthy alternative like vegetables and fruits. So it's not necessarily that we have to consume sugar to get these bioactives or micronutrients. Another thing we have to keep in mind is like we need to consume a good amount to get that, because most of the sugars, it is all very small amounts. So we cannot consume like so many spoons of concentrated jaggery or lot of dates or honey like that, because it is also calorie dense. So we have to keep in mind that this should not be the reason to consume lots of sugars, because we can easily get these micronutrients or bioactives from other foods. So certain health benefits I want to compare. So white sugar, nothing much to talk. Brown sugar, nothing much. Coconut sugar, there is some amount of prebiotic fiber, can support gut health. But again, it is a very negligible amount, and then we can easily get this from other foods. So we don't have to consume coconut sugar just for that some little bit of prebiotic fiber. So honey has anti-inflammatory property also. It is used in wound dressing and all that. Medical honey is there. You may be aware of all those things. Honey has anti-inflammatory properties. It supports immune system. There are some advantage of taking honey, but then again, we won't be able to consume lots of honey to get these benefits, and also it's calorie dense. So coming to jaggery or molasses. Molasses, we often heard that it is good for anemia and it is high in calcium. So 1 tablespoon of blackstrap molasses, that is a concentrated form of jaggery or molasses, that has 20% iron requirements what we need and 10% calcium requirements. But then we won't be able to consume so much of jaggery just to get these requirements. And maple syrup contains some polyphenols that may help in inflammation and all that. But then there are some research shows potential benefits, but it is unclear like how exactly the health benefits in human beings and how much to consume. This is the case in maple syrup and agave syrup. Coming to dates, so there is some evidence that in animals and humans, date consumption can decrease blood glucose, total cholesterol, triglyceride, increased HDL, like that. So maybe you are remembering that the glycemic index of dates, there are some varieties of dates having a relatively lower glycemic index. So dates also promote the abundance of beneficial gut microbacteria that plays an important role in inflammation, and also dates can be consumed in moderation by people with diabetes and people having lipid issues, all that. So again, moderate consumption repeatedly, it is shown in studies like it is like 2 to 3 dates per day or maximum 5 dates like that, and some form of a dates, because it all depends upon the glycemic index of dates, depends upon the variety. Some forms have less glycemic index and some form is very high glycemic index, so that we have to keep in mind. Sugar substitutes like stevia is approved by various food authorities, like it is safe for human consumption. Even some of the artificial sweeteners are also approved as safe for consumption. But then there are some concerns about the long-term health impact. It's not mainly from stevia. Stevia is a natural sweetener. It is mainly from the artificial sweeteners. So artificial sweeteners are not that advisable because of certain long-term health impacts. So that I think there is a lot to unpack about artificial sweeteners, maybe in another video. So I'm not going to discuss that in detail. I would like to summarize this video. The key points are: sugar is sugar. So sugar doesn't add much to the nutritive value of foods, and something we need to avoid as much as possible. So I want you to look at the risk versus benefit in consuming sugar. So what are the benefits of consuming sugar? So nutritionally nothing much, but then there is a social aspect to it. Sugar or the sweets or sugar added food, the social aspect is like it is a part of celebration. Like it is like a part of festivities, and then we, like when we are together in a social gathering or something, or during festival we consume some amount of sweets. So it is good to go for the best sugar as much as possible, like added honey or added jaggery or date sugar, something like that, compared to the white and brown sugar. Now the risk. So there is a lot of research, literature and scientific papers regarding the risk of various types of sugar at different levels, like cellular level. It affects the damage to various cells, mitochondrial level, and also certain risk for various diseases like chronic diseases, long-term health impact, and lot of research on the adverse effect of sugar. So the risk versus benefit, if you think the benefits are, there are few benefits but not much, the risk is more here. So we need to make a conscious choice. How much sugar to take, how often to take, whether we can avoid sugar as much as possible. So that is a conscious decision. I'm sure this video is useful for all of us. So please don't hesitate to like, share and subscribe. Thank you for supporting this channel, and thank you once again. See you soon with another video. Goodbye.